It's been an action-packed summer filled with movement all over the NBA, and that's left us with a lot of burning questions as we edge closer to the new season. So it's time for us to attempt to answer some of those questions in a segment we like to call Jump Ball. First up, more likely to take the next step, Lonzo Ball or Brandon Ingram? Ramona, you first.
I'm gonna go like this, Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
Okay? And it's not a slight to Brandon Ingram, but I think Lonzo Ball out of the spotlight in LA with normal size expectations and a team that fits his unique skill set, throwing lobs to Zion Williamson, Drew Holiday in the backcourt with him, that might be the best defensive backcourt in the NBA already. I think Lonzo takes a step forward, and if he doesn't, then maybe that's the end of Lonzo as a super prospect.
Dave?
I'm going to go Ingram, but Ramona does bring up a great point that Ingram will have to adjust, and it was obviously an adjustment to play with LeBron James,
right,
but just playing with Zion and Favors and Drew Holiday and guys who maybe get more touches. But his offensive game to me is so much further advanced than Lonzo's is at this point that I have to go there. And defensively, with his length and some of his instincts, he showed some stuff last year, but you know, the health scare, we have to make sure that that's out of the way, all signs coming from New Orleans that it will be. But just the things that he can do, his length, his ability to finish with either hand around the rim, a good free throw shooter, I like Brandon Ingram.
So I'm going to cut the difference. I'm going to say that the traditional statistical measurements will favor Brandon Ingram, but I think that like net rating and things like that will favor Lonzo because I think he can have a bigger impact defensively and just kind of getting other guys involved. But the Zion thing will be fascinating because I feel like from talking to, Alvin Gentry and the New Orleans people, they really feel like Zion wants to just be part of the team. Like, he doesn't want to lead, which is why we kind of laughed at David Griffin a while ago talking about, like, it's not Zion's team. And I know that's not realistic because we're going to put that pressure on him. But Zion himself is kind of like, I want to do everything with my teammates. I don't want to be singled out in any way. So I do think that helps both guys, potentially.
Well, it's also his skill set. I mean, he reminds me of sort of Blake Griffin when he came into the league. Blake was a singular talent. He was an incredible dunker. He was a great player. But he needed someone to set him up. Like, you couldn't just give the ball to Blake and say, take over. He's forward.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. Which team is more likely to bounce back from the finals team? The Warriors or the Raptors? Both NBA Finals participants will look drastically different after each team lost their best player in free agency. The Warriors did manage to get back an all-star in D'Angelo Russell for Kevin Durant, but will be without Klay Thompson for much of the season in a tough Western Conference. Toronto also lost Danny Green, but seemingly have less obstacles in their way in the East after losing Kawhi. Dave, which team is more likely to bounce back, Warriors or Raptors?
I'm going to go Raptors, and I'll start off by saying that Nick Nurse, in the 22 regular season games that Kawhi Leonard had load management last season, was able to coach that team to a 17-5 record. That, to me, it was the biggest reason I want to pick it because he came up through the G League, Nick Nurse did, and was able to kind of take whatever groceries they popped on the plate for him because guys had G League call-ups and other things. And then cook a meal that was satisfying on a nightly basis. I think he's going to do that again. Pascal Siakam, an ascending talent, and then the big, maybe even a bigger factor than Nick Nurse coaching. They're playing in the East. The West is tougher.
Yeah, I mean, I think Siakam takes a big step forward this year because he's got a bigger pot to grow in, right? He's not just the kid anymore. He's a guy that they're looking to build around. The question, though, are they going to build? Are they going to let this team run? Are they going to let them go through the trade deadline? Because you have veterans who were brought there to contend for a championship in the last year of their contract. We'll see what happens with Gasol and Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka. I mean, we'll see if they let that team run. So I'm going to actually go with the Warriors, guys. I just think you should never underestimate the heart of a champion. I'm just stronger on Steph Curry and the Warriors and what they have to build around, especially opening up that new arena. I don't think they go quietly.
I think in the regular season, Dave, you could be right because the Raptors are in the East, right? And they can win easily 45 games with the team that they have. Nick Nurse is already talking about not just Pascal Siakam in the weight room and throwing up shots and whatnot, but OG Anunoby, who's a guy they were very high on, who obviously missed most of the season last year, or the end of the season because of an appendectomy. They're very high on him as a two-way player. But in the playoffs, I'm with you, Ramona. I think that if Klay comes back by the All-Star break and gets some time to get ready, I think they are a dangerous team in the postseason. So,
thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.